Hello everyone, I am Dr. Nisha Waghmare. I am an Associate Professor in Department of Social Work, Walchand College of Arts and Science, Solapur, Maharashtra. Today we are going to discuss the topic sampling method in social work research. Now let us see what are the learning outcomes of this session. That means at the end of this session, you will be able to understand the concept and importance of sampling method in social work research. You will know various types and subtypes of sampling method and also be able to apply the sampling methods for social work research project. To begin with, in order to understand the sampling, we need to understand the meaning of population or universe. The definition of population or universe is a complete set of elements, persons or objects that possess some common characteristics defined by sampling criteria established by the researcher and on which researcher wishes to generalize the study findings is called population or universe. So, the universe is the target population of the study. The aggregate of all the units pertaining to study is called population or universe. Broadly, there are two methods by which the respondents could be selected for data collection in social work research. One is census method and the other one is sampling method. Now let us see each method in detail. Census method. It refers to the complete enumeration of the universe. A universe may be a place, a group of people, or a specific locality through which we collect the data. Here we take into account all the elements of the population and data is collected from total population. Census method is necessary in some cases like population census, agricultural census, animal census, etc. for gaining vast knowledge. Sometimes it is difficult or not possible to study a whole group, an extremely large group. At that time, sampling method is extremely useful. So, sampling method is the process which allows us to study manageable number of people from the large group to derive inferences that are likely to be applicable to all people of large group. So, sampling is the process of selecting a group of people, events, behavior or other elements with which we wish to conduct a study. For example, if we wish to study the role of self-help group in women empowerment of a particular district, all the women, those who are members of self-help group in that particular district form the universe, whereas the element of that universe would be talukas falling under that districts in which the self-help groups are situated. So now drawing representation from each element will be formed the sample of that particular study. In short, in census method, each and every unit of the population is studied, whereas in sampling method, only few units of the population is studied in order to make inferences that can be generalized to the total population or universe. Now let us discuss what are the importance of sampling method. It saves time. It requires minimal resources like money, material, stationery, etc. It is the only way when universe is too large. It facilitates the quick assessment of the situation. It helps to get more accurate measurements. That means the results obtained from the sample is more precise and correct as compared to the results from study of whole group, that is by census method. Now let us see the types of sampling method. Broadly, there are two types of sampling method. One, random, which is also called probability sampling method, and the second one is non-random or non-probability sampling method. Random or probability sampling method, here each element get equal chances to be included as sample. The probability of each element to be included in a sample is based on theories of probability. For example, in a population of 1000 members, each of these members will have 1 in 1000 chances of being selected to be a part of the sample. It gets rid of biases in the population and gives a fair chance to all the members to be included in the sample. Now let us see what is meant by non-random or non-probability sampling method. Here there is no assurance that each element has same chances of being included as sample. Means there is no way of estimating the probability that each element has been included in the sample. Now let us discuss types of random or probability sampling method. There are 4 types of probability sampling method in social work research, and they are: 1. Simple, 2nd stratified, 3rd systematic, and 4th cluster. We will see each types of probability sampling method in detail. Simple random sampling method. Here, every single member of the population is chosen randomly, merely by chance, and each individual has the exact same probability of being chosen to be a part of sample. In stratified, the population is divided into 2 or more groups called strata according to some criteria such as geographical location, grade level, age or income, and subsamples are randomly selected from each strata of the population. For instance, if you want to study the social work students studying at bachelor level, so equal number of students will be selected from each class, that is strata, that is from BSW part 1, part 2 and part 3, which forms the sample. The third type of random sampling method is systematic. Here, in systematic random sampling process, every kth element, that is, it may be 5th or 10th or 15th or 12th, 20th, depends on the number of the sample that is need to be incorporated in the study. So, dependent on that, every kth element is selected for the sample after a random start is determined. For example, a researcher intends to collect a systematic sample of 50 people in a population of 500. Each element of the population will be numbered from 1 to 500, and every 10th individual will be chosen to be a part of the sample. So, out of total population, that is 500, sample size 50 will be selected. Here the kth element is 10. Fourth and the last type of random sampling method is cluster. It is the method where the researchers divide the entire population into sections or cluster that represents a population. Clusters are identified and included in a sample on the basis of defining demographic parameters such as age, location, sex, etc. For example, if you want to conduct a study of beggars in urban areas of a particular state, then prepare a list of districts in that particular state which forms the cluster of the target population, and then select the sample, that is beggars, from each clusters by using simple random sampling method. Now let us see how much we have understood so far by giving appropriate answers to the following MCQ. The question is, how many types of sampling method are there in social work research? How many types of sampling method are there in social work research? And the options are 2, 4, 3, can't say. You have to choose any one answer out of these 4 alternatives, the most appropriate answer. I think you have now come to you have now actually know the answer. Let us find out what you have suggested or what you know the answer is right or not. The answer is 2, that is random or probability, or non-random or non-probability. Now you can answer the second question related to the topic, and the question is, name the 4 types of random or probability sampling method. The answer is, one more time I will repeat the question, name the 4 types of random or the probability sampling method. Now let us find out whether what you have thought that is right answer or not. The answer is simple, stratified, 3rd systematic, and the 4th one is cluster. Okay, let's move on to the next slide. Now we will discuss the types of non-random or non-probability sampling, and there are 4 types of non-random or non-probability sampling method, and they are convenience, quota, snowball and purpose. Now let us discuss each types of non-random sampling method in detail. First, convenience. Here the sample are selected who happens to meet the researcher and willing to be interviewed. For example, if a project director wants to study the health status of the target group of a particular community visiting to the agency for health services, the project director may directly select and interview the target people available in that particular community at the given point of time, which form the sample of the proposed study. So here the inconvenience sampling method, it is carried out on the basis of how easy is it for a researcher to get in touch with the subjects. The second non-random or non-probability sampling method type is quota. It is used where diverse elements of population is there in order to ensure that these diverse elements should be taken into account of their proportion in which they occurs in population. For instance, if we wish to study the religion-wise opinion of a village dwellers, whereby the population of that village comprises of 70% Hindus, 15% Muslims and 13% Buddhists, and we want to study their voting preferences in a sample of 98 people. Then the researcher can interview the people about their voting preferences and religion. But he or she will have to stop asking Muslim population when we have 15 responses from the Muslims, and stop taking interviews of Buddhists when we have 30 responses. And he can continue sampling Hindu till he have 70. So that the religion-wise composition of the sample matches that of the total population of the village under study. Third, in snowball sampling method, here research starts by identifying a few respondents that match the criteria for inclusion in the study, and then asks them to recommend others they know who also meet the selection criteria of the study. It is extremely helpful in studying some special sample situation or in a more sensitive cases. For example, if we have undertaken the study of drug abuser, we start collecting the information from the drug abuser who gave consent to be included in our study, and those who have included in the study are expected to guide us to get more respondents, and so on. Like the rotating snowball, our sample increases in size as we continue to get more units of study. The last one is purposive or judgmental non-random sampling method. It is based on assumption that with good judgment one can select the sample that are satisfactory in relation to one's requirement. In judgmental or purposive, the sample is found by the discretion of the judge, purely considering purpose of study along with the understanding of target audience. Here the participants are selected solely on the basis of research requirements, and elements who do not suffice the purpose are kept out of the sample. For example, if you are interested in studying the reasons of the irregularity of patients in attending OPD, it might be desirable to choose patients for sample from among those who are frequently irregular, because the cause of irregularity can be described by the irregular patients only. So let us recall what we have learned today in sampling method in social work research. Initially, we have discussed the definition of population or universe, then concept and importance of sampling method in social work research. Then we try to understand two broad types of sampling method: random, which is also called probability sampling method, and non-random or non-probability sampling method. Each type of sampling method have 4 subtypes, that is, random probability sampling method have 4 subtypes, that are simple, stratified, systematic, cluster, while as non-random or non-probability sampling methods are of 4 types: convenience, quota, snowball and purposive or judgmental. So here are a few references that I have cited for the presentation. Thank you. If you have any doubt or query or any kind of clarification or suggestion for that matter related to the topic, you can get back to me through email. Thank you.